Whether it's cars, comics, video games, or violins, there's a little geek in all of us. It's time to give your geek a voice. It's time for Geek Therapy. Here's your host, Johnny Himberger.
Sex! Sex! Did I get your attention, you animals? If you have a heart attack during sex, during an amorous relations, guess what? Only about a third of people who had a heart attack during sex got life-saving help from their partner, which is funny to me. It's like, yeah, babe, I just spent all that time kissing you, but I ain't giving you CPR. You're supposed to pump to staying alive. Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk, that woman may no time to talk. You like that? That's my cover of Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. All right, now that I got that dumb story out of the way to get your attention, sex! Let's move on to actual real things. Let's move on to, not even gonna make a joke about it. Not even gonna go there. And for once, usually when I say, I'm not going to talk about it, I wind up talking about it for like 10 minutes, but I'm actually not going to make a joke about this. I'm just going to move on. EA, Electronic Arts, the video game publisher, has screwed the pooch big time. Big time with the release of Battlefront 2, and people are pissed. Let me just... It boggles my mind a little bit because we hear this cry over and over again. EA or an insert publisher, we are never buying a game from you ever again because of you make us pay for more download content. The games aren't complete when you release them. We pre-order these games and they're broken when we buy them. We disagree with microtransactions, all the same thing. But then we see a trailer for, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Oh, pre-order. I'll give you $60 months before the games ever come out. So anyways, Battlefront 2 has come out, and once again, it's the same story. I haven't heard much in the way of it being broken, per se, it being glitchy or anything like that, but the big beef with Battlefront 2, like in other games, is that they have microtransactions in the game, which means in the game, for instance, just to use an example, let's say you can buy an upgrade for your weapon that gives you an advantage over other players. What that does is creates an unfair advantage for people who might not necessarily be good at the game. It might create an unfair advantage for those types of people who just buy more powerful weapons, give them an advantage over people who maybe they just spent $60 and they can't afford to pay $5 here and there, $10 here and there, $2 here and there for virtual things in the game that give them a competitive edge. It's not fair. It's not fair. In video games, in competitive video games, the only way you should earn upgrades to your weapons and to your character or whatever is through playing the game, is by getting experience in the game and then receiving those upgrades as you get better at the game, as you put more time into the game. You should spend your $60 on the game or whatever once. And then your skill, your competitive edge comes only from getting better at the game, from playing the game. I don't play much of, what's the last EA game that I played? Was it a Call of Duty? And for those of you uninitiated, my view on Call of Duty is that Call of Duty has been the same game since Call of Duty 4, Advanced Warfare. It's been the same game. I'm sorry. Argue with me all you want. Call of Duty Black Ops, that did go back to some, warfare in Southeast Asia, but by and large, the mechanic of the game, everything about the game, if you've played if you've played Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, you've basically played every Call of Duty to date, except for the newest Call of Duty, which goes back to World War II. And that's what I have wanted for years. They've been pushing out this Modern Warfare stuff. It's like, you know what? Graphics have gotten so good, 2016, 2017. It'd be really cool if EA made another Call of Duty game, but back in World War II. Make a new campaign for World War II. And they've done that. And I haven't got the game yet, but it looks amazing, and I'll probably get it. I haven't heard too many complaints about the new Call of Duty, other than I think I heard someone saying, well, it just kind of goes back to the old ways, it doesn't introduce many new weapons or anything like that. It's just kind of old. Yeah, that's what we wanted. That's exactly what we wanted. We wanted the old glory days of Call of Duty, just in a modern release with modern visuals. That's basically all I wanted. I wanted better sound design, better graphics, and we got that, apparently, with the new Call of Duty. I could care less. What new weapon are you going to come up with for World War II? You got the M1 Garand, you have your tanks, you have your pistols, you have your Rugers and whatnot. Like, do you need to create a new weapon for a game that's supposed to be relatively historically accurate? No, I'm fine. I'm fine with the old rocket launchers. I'm fine with the grenades. I'm fine with the weapons that were available in World War II. So if your complaint is the new Call of Duty game doesn't give you more innovation, we didn't want innovation. We just wanted a good World War II game from the Call of Duty franchise, and we got that. But yeah, so EA really, like I said, really screwed the pooch releasing the game with these microtransactions, creating an unfair advantage for players who just simply want to buy skill. You can't buy skill. Let's say, in my case, I play lots of Rocket League, and now I really, 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 really need to get a Nintendo Switch because Rocket League just came out a few days ago for the Nintendo Switch. But let's say I just got into Rocket League, and instead of getting good at the game, which is the whole basis of Rocket League, is just playing and getting more experience and skill and, learning more nuance to the game to give you the competitive edge against your competition, just knowing the game. Let's say we can skip all that, and I just, through a microtransaction, I gave $10 to Psyonix, and they gave me this patch, this patch in the code of the game for me that said anytime I hit the ball, it goes right towards the goal. An aimbot, 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 that says anytime the ball bounces off my car, it automatically beelines to the goal. That would be an unfair advantage. That game is purely physics-based. How the ball hits off your car is where the ball is going to go, roughly, based on real-world physics. So yes, that would be big-time cheating for me just to spend $10 and get a patch for the game that makes the ball bounce off my car always towards the goal. It doesn't mean it's always going to go in the goal. It just means that it goes towards the goal. So yeah, that's not good. And that's basically what they did for Battlefront 2. Now, I mean, why can't players just do what they did in the old days and just hack the game? Wow, what was it called? And even in Call of Duty multiplayer online, I'm blanking out on you had to log into special servers or whatever. They had to verify your game to make sure you didn't have any hacks enabled in the game that gave you an unfair advantage against other players. What is it called? Oh, I'm blanking out. I know a lot of you are just yelling at your radio, yelling at the screen here on YouTube, saying it was called something. I forget what it was called, but it was basically a safety net to filter out any unauthorized patches in the game that would give you an illegal advantage in the game. A cheat, a hack. Now, you don't even got to do that anymore. EA just said, give us a couple bucks. We'll give you an advantage in the game. You don't have to hack. Don't use any smarts or brains to hack the code of the game. Just give us $5 and we'll make you good at the game instantly. You don't have to be good at the game. We're just gonna instead of shooting a guy with 3 bullets to kill him, make you just look at the guy and he's dead. Or one bullet to kill. Remember the golden gun in GoldenEye 64? The golden gun? Stupid. I hated that freaking thing. If you came to my house to play GoldenEye 64 and you picked the golden gun, screw you. Screw you, Dan. Screw you, Michael. Everybody knew, I'm getting off topic a little bit, but everybody knew a kid in their class or in their school who was just the best at GoldenEye 64, and nobody stood a chance. Nobody stood a chance against Daniel, who's been on my show, Daniel SSSS. He was the best at GoldenEye, except for Michael B., who was just a god at GoldenEye 64. I hate, yeah, and if you got the golden gun in a GoldenEye 64 just means one bullet, one kill. You could get shot in the foot with the golden gun and you're dead. You have to respawn somewhere. And you know what sucks also? Is there was no random respawn points in GoldenEye. So the really good players would just know everywhere you were going to be to respawn, so you'd respawn and then get shot in the face again with a golden gun. Stupid, cheating, dumb. And they could run and they could strafe with perfectly pinpoint accuracy shooting you with the RP90 or whatever it is. Dumb. That's unfair. Actually, in that case, that's not unfair. That means that Michael and Dan spent a lot of time honing in the nuances of the game and the controls to keep you perfectly pinpointed in the crosshairs. Still stupid. It was still not fun to play GoldenEye or first-person shooters with those two. So I had to invent new ways to make the game fun. I still had fun playing multiplayer Call of Duty. Yeah. So anyways, to wrap up this segment, EA has recanted. They have gone back and they said, oh, where am I getting this from? This is from Ars Technica. It says, Electronic Arts and developer DICE announced that they are, quote, turning off all in-game purchases and all progression will be earned through gameplay. Hooray! Hooray! Now you get to play the game and your skill is based on how much experience you have in the game. What a novel thought. What a crazy novel thought. And guess what? The internet is just exploding with 2020 hindsight, I told you so, Captain Hindsight people saying, well, you vote with your wallet and you do this every time. Just don't buy the game and they'll stop making the games with these mechanics in it. But we still do it every time. We still do it every time. You say, I'm never buying a pre-order. I'm never pre-ordering a game ever again. I am never buying another Electronic Arts game because they have these microtransactions. And then you do. And then you do. You do. You buy the game every time. Oh, the new trailer looks great. I have to buy it. This time will be different. No. You know what that behavior is indicative of? An addict. An addict to a drug. And EA is cranking out the crank. More Geek Therapy Radio coming up. I'm Johnny Hamburger. Now comes the social media stuff. Sarah, go follow Geek Therapy Radio on Instagram. Go follow Geek Therapy Radio, or go like Geek Therapy Radio on Facebook. Go subscribe to Geek Therapy Radio on YouTube and also Twitter. I posted one thing to Twitter this week. It's on Twitter. It's Geek Therapy KPRC on Twitter. So Geek Therapy KPRC on Twitter. So go follow Geek Therapy Radio on Instagram. Go like Geek Therapy Radio on Facebook. Go subscribe to Geek Therapy on YouTube, and go follow Geek Therapy KPRC on Twitter. That's too much social media. That's too much stuff. We'll be right back. I'm Johnny Hamburger, your mental curator for the evening. Stick around. We'll be right back with more Geek Therapy Radio, where geeks are sexy.